Hello there, I'm Anita Wu and you're watching Nightline, news making the headlines. Federal government is still servicing the 4 billion ringgit loan taken by SRC International from KWAP. And sex video, PKR Youth Santubong Chief Haziq Abdullah Abdul Aziz slapped with a show cause letter. A headlining story, the federal government is still servicing the 4 billion ringgit loan taken by SRC International Sdn Bhd from Retirement Fund Inc. or KWAP due to the company's failure to pay its debts. Deputy Secretary of the Finance Ministry Strategic Investments Division, Afida Azwa Abdul Aziz, said the government, as the guarantor of the loan, had to be responsible in paying back the principal loan and its interest to KWAP. In testifying at the Kuala Lumpur High Court on Wednesday, Afida said based on the agreement between SRC International and KWAP, the loan would be settled in 2022, which is 10 years from the year the loan was disbursed in 2012. Afida, who was attached to the ministry's government guarantee unit, said, in her experience, the government would service loans when a government guarantee had been given. She said for projects apart from SRC International, usually the Finance Ministry would be prepared earlier because the ministry would have to finance infrastructure projects that could not generate enough profit to pay its debts, especially during the construction period. However, she revealed that for SRC International, its loan was for the purpose of investments which it should have gained profits from. Afida also said that the government was not prepared from the aspect of allocation to pay back the loan to KWAP because SRC was late in informing the government of its failure to finance the debt. As of May this year, the 41st witness said the balance from the interest and principal loan taken up by SRC from KWAP, which is currently financed by the government, stood at 4.15 billion ringgit. During the evening session, Afida also revealed that the federal government had bailed out SRC International Sdn Bhd with close to 600 million ringgit on several occasions to avoid the company from going into an event of default or EOD with the KWAP after it defaulted on its payments. She said SRC stopped making interest payments on the 4 billion ringgit loan in March 2015, resulting in outstanding amounts owed to the pension fund. Afida testified that according to the financing agreement between SRC and the KWAP, the interest payment on the loan would begin after 30 months from the date of disbursement. She said SRC did make interest payments, but starting March 2015, there was an outstanding payment on the interest. The matter was relayed to the Finance Ministry through a letter from KWAP to SRC, which was forwarded to the ministry. The hearing before Justice Muhammad Nazlan Muhammad Ghazali continues on Thursday. Industry players have agreed to maintain the price of cement. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution said the decision was made following a meeting with industry players yesterday. He also said the cement manufacturers were reminded that cement is a controlled item and they cannot raise the price without the government's approval.
Kalau mereka tidak berbuat demikian, mereka telah melakukan pelanggaran. Dan mereka terdedah kepada tindakan, denda dan sebagainya. Kita terangkan pula kepada mereka. Dalam kes ini, apakah sebelum mereka mengeluarkan perkeliling kepada pelanggan mereka, mengumumkan hasrat naikkan harga, apakah mereka telah memaklumkan kepada kementerian? Jawapannya tidak.
Datuk Sri Saifuddin added that all 19 cement manufacturers agreed not to increase the price and to discuss with the ministry before increasing the price of the item. He said the manufacturers claimed the price of imported products had gone up and they had no choice but to raise the price. The minister, however, informed them that a price hike would have a major impact on the government's plans to build 1 million affordable houses this year. Regional and international issues affecting ASEAN member countries will be discussed by leaders at the 34th ASEAN Summit and related meetings in Bangkok, Thailand from June 20th to 23rd. ASEAN Malaysia National Secretariat's Director General Dato' Ahmad Rozian Abdul Ghani said matters pertaining to the China-United States trade war will be among the main agendas at the four-day summit, besides of the Rohingya conflict. Our reporter Azrin Abra has the details.
Dato' Ahmad Rozian said the leaders of the ASEAN member countries are expected to discuss various issues including the creation of the ASEAN community by 2025, team advancing partnership for sustainability. He said leaders would discuss related issues to bring ASEAN more advanced under the first chairmanship of Thailand.
Malaysia menyokong tema yang telah diperkenalkan oleh Thailand ini, dan kita akan lihatlah mana dari segi apa yang kita boleh kerjasama, pada masa yang sama melihat kepada apa yang boleh negara-negara ASEAN lakukan secara bersama serta dengan negara-negara dialog yang kita ada. Sebanyak kita ada 10 negara dialog ASEAN kan, untuk melaksanakan aktiviti-aktiviti atau program-program yang memberi manfaat kepada rantau ini dari segi ekonomi, untuk mengukuhkan kestabilan dan juga untuk mencapai ASEAN community building yang telah kita cuba.
Meanwhile, Malaysian Ambassador to Thailand, Datuk Joji Samuel, said ASEAN Summit will be the best platform to review pertinent current issues within the region.
Sidang Kemuncak ASEAN ke-34 memberi peluang kepada para pemimpin ASEAN untuk menilai semula dan mengkaji isu-isu semasa dan agenda komuniti ASEAN berikutan perubahan komuniti ASEAN dan perakuan dokumen ASEAN 2025.
Tun Dr. Mahathir, who is scheduled to arrive in Bangkok on Thursday, will attend the 34th ASEAN Summit plenary session and also the retreat session on Saturday and Sunday. Accompanying him are wife Tun Dr. Siti Hasmah Ali, Foreign Minister Datuk Saifuddin Abdullah, International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Darul Lee and Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali. Azrin Abra, Bangkok, Thailand.
PKR Youth Santubong Chief Haziq Abdullah Abdul Aziz will be slapped with a show cause letter over his involvement in the sex video controversy. PKR Disciplinary Board Chief Dato' Ahmad Kasim said the party disciplinary board has forwarded 4 recommendations which have been endorsed by the Political Bureau, including to issue the show cause letter.
Ada 4 perkara yang telah dirumuskan oleh Lembaga Disiplin Parti yang kami kemukakan kepada Biro Politik, iaitu yang pertamanya, surat tunjuk sebab akan diberikan kepada saudara Haziq Abdullah bin Abdul Aziz, Ketua AMK Santubong, kerana telah mencemar nama parti dengan membuat kenyataan umum yang menjatuhkan maruah dan merosakkan reputasi dan kepribadian pimpinan parti.
He was speaking to the media after the party disciplinary board meeting at the party's headquarters in Petaling Jaya, Selangor on Wednesday. Dato' Ahmad said Haziq has 14 days to respond to the show cause letter. He added that the party's disciplinary board has also taken note of the denial issued by the PKR Deputy President and will review any further explanation. He also said that the disciplinary board will wait for the investigation on the case by the police and relevant bodies. Dato' Ahmad also warned PKR members not to make any baseless allegations about the party's leadership. Earlier, PKR Vice President Zuraida Kamaruddin had said that she will propose that Haziq, the Senior Private Secretary to Deputy Primary Industries Minister Datuk Sri Shamsul Iskandar Mat Akin, be sacked from the party. On June 12, Haziq admitted that he was one of the 2 individuals seen in a sex video. Meanwhile, police are still waiting for the findings of investigations to determine whether the sex videos implicating a federal minister are authentic or not. According to Deputy Inspector General of Police, Datuk Mazlan Mansoor, no time frame had been set for police to wrap up the investigations, as it would be a comprehensive probe. Datuk Mazlan said no further arrests have been made in connection with the case, but police will call in relevant individuals to facilitate in the investigation. Last Friday, PKR member Haziq Abdullah Abdul Aziz was arrested at the Kuala Lumpur International Airport in connection with the sex video scandal. Haziq had admitted to being in the videos and alleged that Economic Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Muhammad Azmin Ali was also featured in the clips. Datuk Sri Azmin, who is also PKR Deputy President, has strongly denied the allegation, saying it was made to tarnish his reputation and destroy his political career. The historic Taiping Aerodrome, where aviation legend Amelia Mary Earhart had a refueling stopover in 1937 during her journey to circumnavigate the globe, is set to become the state's heritage site. Perak Menteri Besar Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal Azumu said the decision was made during the State Exco meeting on Wednesday, where the state government also urged the State Land and Mines Department to speed up the process. Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal also dismissed claims that the Taiping Aerodrome had been sold to make way for housing development projects. He reiterated that under the leadership of Pakatan Harapan, some parts of the land had been returned to the Menteri Besar Perak Incorporated.
Saya nak confirmkan di sini, ianya tidak pernah diluluskan kepada mana-mana pihak sekalipun. Malahan, Kerajaan Pakatan Harapan di bawah kepimpinan saya telah menyerahkan semula tanah yang pernah diluluskan kepada MB Incorporated. So clear Tidak pernah meluluskan kepada mana-mana pihak landasan aerodrome Taiping.
He said this at a media conference after handing over 3 million ringgit financial assistance to 261 partially aided government schools in Perak at Dewan Serbaguna in Bangunan Perak Darul Rizwan in Ipoh. It was earlier reported that Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal had cancelled an approval made by the previous state government administration on January 16th to hand over part of the Taiping Aerodrome to the private sector for development. Commenting on the recent protests held by a group of people against the alleged development on Taiping Aerodrome, Datuk Seri Ahmad Faizal advised heritage lovers to refer to the relevant authorities before accusing the state government of selling the historical area. On Friday, several non-governmental organisations, NGOs, staged a protest against the alleged development of the area, claiming that the land had been sold without considering the importance of its heritage and historical values. A 2-year-old girl died due to injuries sustained after she was accidentally struck by a ceiling fan. According to the Myanmarese complainant, who is the toddler's father, the victim was tossed by a relative while playing at the victim's house on Monday. She was seriously injured following the incident and was rushed to the hospital by the girl's mother and brother. The hospital confirmed her death and the body was sent to the Kuala Lumpur hospital for post-mortem. Results have shown that the cause of death was due to severe head injury by blunt trauma. Police arrested a 25-year-old Myanmar man on Tuesday at the district police headquarters at around 1:15 p.m. and the man has been remanded until June 25th. The case is being investigated under Section 31, subsection 1A of the Child Act 2001 for abuse. A pet monkey went berserk and attacked its 72-year-old owner, who died at the scene in Kuala Terengganu on Wednesday. The 10 a.m. incident at Kampung Leban Besar in Tepoh saw Ngah Muhammad bleed to death after the monkey bit him on his arm as he tried to chain the animal. The fatal attack took place in a farm near the victim's house. The male monkey was then captured by local villagers before being handed over to the Wildlife and National Parks Department at around 2 p.m. The department's State Director, Dr. Abdul Malik Muhammad Yusof, confirmed the matter when contacted. Ngah's body was handed to the police before being transferred to the Sultanah Nur Zahira Hospital for post-mortem. His remains are expected to be buried at the Waqaf Masira Muslim Cemetery in Tepoh on Thursday.
Catch the auto segment every Friday on Nightline! Woo! Wow!
Welcome back. Police on Wednesday arrested 8 suspects believed to have been linked to the abduction of 10 fishermen in the waters of Lahad Datu, Sabah a day earlier. Those arrested comprised a boat operator, a boat owner and 6 foreigners.
Mulanya kita inilah lautan diluaskan. Saya sebut di bawah teritori territorial waters Malaysia, dan ada juga kita ada kemungkinan bukan di bawah perairan kita, tapi kita dah dikonfirmkan bahawa di bawah teritori Malaysian waters.
He said so far police have yet to receive any calls from the kidnappers. Police are also investigating whether one of the crew members who was left unharmed by the kidnappers is a Malaysian. In the early morning incident, 10 of 16 fishermen in 2 boats were abducted by armed groups linked to the Abu Sayyaf in the waters of Lahad Datu on their way to Semporna. The victims, who are sea gypsies aged between 17 and 60 years old, were taken to Sitangkai in the Tawi-Tawi chain of islands in southern Philippines, which is only about 15 minutes by speedboat from Tambisan waters in Lahad Datu. In Selangor, an Indonesian woman and her teenage son perished in a fire that destroyed 4 houses in Kampung Sungai Udang, Klang on Wednesday. However, 10 other occupants of the 4 houses managed to escape unhurt in the incident. According to Selangor Fire and Rescue Department Director Nur Azam Khamis, the charred remains of the victims were found in the bathroom of one of the houses after firefighters managed to douse the blaze. They were identified as Sulastri, 48, and her 18-year-old son, Wahyu Muhammad Asraf. It is understood that the two apparently attempted to escape through the bathroom when the fire broke out at 6:30 a.m, but were prevented by the locked grille door. And to make matters worse, the door was also blocked by several motorcycles parked outside. Their remains were taken to the Tengku Ampuan Rahimah Hospital for post-mortem. Nur Azam said initial investigations found that the fire was caused by a short circuit. In Kuala Lumpur, a plumber was sentenced to 10 years in jail at the Ampang Sessions Court on Wednesday after he pleaded guilty to 2 counts of abusing his 3-year-old stepson, resulting in his death. However, Khairul Izaini Khairuddin, 32, also known as Boy Tiger, will only serve a 5-year term after Judge Azrul Darus ordered his sentences to run concurrently from the date of his arrest on November 12 last year. He was charged under Section 31, subsection 1A of the Child Act 2001, which provides for a fine of not more than 50,000 ringgit and a maximum 20 years jail if convicted. In Sarawak, a man was arrested in Betong after he stabbed his teenage niece with a foldable knife following her family's refusal to withdraw a police report against him for allegedly raping her. Padawan District Police Chief Superintendent Aidil Bol Hassan said the incident unfolded when the 39-year-old suspect stopped the car driven by the 17-year-old victim's mother along Jalan Batu Kawa while she was sending her daughter to school at around 6:10 a.m. The commotion then caught the attention of nearby residents who quickly came to her aid and apprehended the suspect. The case is being investigated under Section 506 and Section 324 of the Penal Code for intimidation and causing hurt, respectively, and the suspect was remanded for 4 days until June 23rd. In Perak, the Malaysia Anti-Corruption Commission has obtained a 6-day remand order against 2 individuals, including a Perak Tengah Drainage and Irrigation Department DID assistant engineer, over the alleged submission of false claims amounting to 720,000 ringgit. The assistant engineer and a contractor were arrested together with 2 DID officers at the Perak MACC office on Tuesday. Perak MACC Director Datuk Muhammad Fauzi Muhammad said the suspects were alleged to have made 4 false claims involving river rehabilitation works 2 years ago. It is understood that full payments were made to the contractors, although no rehabilitation works were carried out. In Selangor, actor and director Datuk Farid Kamil Zahari has been granted a stay of execution for a 9-month jail term handed last month for drug abuse. The Shah Alam High Court also ordered the 38-year-old celebrity to pay 10,000 ringgit bail with 1 surety and surrender his passport until his trial ended. Farid, who has served 35 days of his sentence since May 15th, was also ordered to report himself at the nearest police station to his house every month. The husband of actress Datin Diana Danielle was accused of using tetrahydrocannabinol, or THC, on January 11th last year. Still to come, 4 suspects to be prosecuted over MH17 crash. Do stay with us. Welcome back. We move on to news on the foreign front. A team of international prosecutors has launched the first criminal proceedings against 4 suspects in the shooting down of Malaysia Airlines flight MH17 near the Russia-Ukraine border nearly 5 years ago. International arrest warrants have now been issued with a trial which is due to begin in the Netherlands on March 9, 2020. The suspects were named as Igor Girkin, a former colonel of the Russian Federal Security Service, Sergei Dubinsky and Oleg Pulatov, who worked for the Russian Military Intelligence Service, and the Ukrainian former commander Leonid Karchenko. According to members of the Joint Investigation Team, JIT, they would be charged with murder over the attack on the passenger plane, which killed all 298 passengers and crew on board. They're suspected of facilitating the transport of the missile used to shoot down the jet from Russia into Ukraine. The JIT also said it had evidence that Russia provided the missile launcher used in the attack on July 17, 2014. It is understood that more suspects could be identified at a later date, including those higher up the chain of command. Up next, Johor Darul Takzim moves a step closer to Super League title. Football action right after this breather.
Catch the auto segment every Friday on Nightline. Woo! Wow!
We're back with sports news now. Football, the Super League. 2 matches were played on Wednesday night. Malacca beat Kuala Lumpur 1-0, while Johor Darul Takzim move a step closer to retain the title following a narrow 3-2 victory over Selangor. The Southern Tigers took the lead 10 minutes into the game through Gonzalo Cabrera's long-range strike before Leandro Velasquez doubled the lead 2 minutes later with a well-placed finish into the bottom corner. Selangor then reduced the deficit through Khairil Muhyiddin's well-struck free kick just before the break to make it 2-1. The hosts, however, restored their 2-goal lead thanks to a strike from Safawi Rashid on the 61st minute. Sandro De Silva then converted a penalty to bring the score at 3-2, but it was too late to prevent JDT from bagging home 3 precious points. Following the results, the reigning champions remain at the top of standings with 43 points, while Selangor is in 5th place with 25 points after 17 matches. Days of heavy rain has caused major floodings across Kalimantan in Indonesia, but some youngsters opted to use the situation by turning the flooded streets into a wakeboard surfing ground. Let's have a look at this footage as we wrap up this edition of Nightline. I'm Anita Wu. Glad you could join us. Stay safe. Good night.